Hi, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, and wanted to take a quick moment to go over my lunchtime coaching sessions and see if I could not help a few people out and explain what my thinking was and how I set up my trades this morning, and why specifically I did not take the first touch of the white zone. So, if you will, let's kind of take a look first at the ES. Here we are. That's my 1 minute chart. So this is the 5 minute on ES, and if you look this morning, let's cover the white zone for a moment. The white zone is how I determine who has control, and the reason why that's important, particularly near the open for me, is that lets me determine whether I have good positioning to take a long or a short that would fit into my theme, and so if I have a theme for the day. So today, based on the rollover that we had at the end of the day yesterday, I felt that we had a good chance of rolling to the downside. However, the white zone said otherwise, and while I may have been aggressive and said, okay, I'm just going to take this short right here, right in the open, it really would have ended up costing me unless I was just going to scalp it for half a point, which is pretty rare on my part. Part of the reason that I didn't take the long, however, was because when NASDAQ opened, it pretty much flushed out of the gate. It opened in the white zone and rolled over quickly. So I had two choices. I could either choose to take a long in the white zone and hope for a rotation up. I was a little concerned about doing that. Or I could have simply gone and waited till I had a better setup later in the day. And my hope was that we would have flushed through, since I did have a short bias today, was that we would short through and then rotate back up into the white zone, giving me a clean shot at a short. As it was, it didn't happen, but I did not take a short. While I did miss a long, I didn't take a short, and so therefore I didn't have to scamper to cover. I didn't take a loss. Everything was really worked out quite nicely, other than not getting the long. And I can always find another winning trade down the road. Having to make up for losing trades really sucks, and can really bury your account. And if we look at the NASDAQ for a moment, when we came in on the NASDAQ this morning, we opened in the white zone, and if we open below a point of control, meaning unless we opened above this, I'm going to assume at this point that sellers are in control, and anywhere from the front of this zone, since sellers are in control, to the back, unless we close on a 5 minute bar up here, I'm going to assume that sellers are in control. Now, my risk is that we have an open drive up and I'm just going to get stopped out immediately. That happens sometimes. It's rare, but it can happen. As it was, my trade placement was 30.43, I believe. I tweeted that out as I was taking the trade. We rolled over. My first target was 5 points, which I hit. And then my idea for the day was that I think we have a chance of rolling over and closing near the lows. Maybe totally wrong. It's options expiration Friday. It's summertime. We may do absolutely nothing. We may close positive at this point. I don't know it, and I don't need to know it. All I need to know is where can I position my trade the best to give me an opportunity, and how am I going to manage that trade? Am I going to take the whole trade off? Am I going to scale it out? Or am I going to let a piece of it ride? And my decision today, coming in before the market ever opened, was that we might close on the lows, and that if I could position myself properly, I'm going to try to let it ride. So going back to the chart, as you'll see, once I covered this, I decided on NQ that I was going to bring my P&L. I already had a very nice day here. I'm going to bring my stop loss to my entry point, and if it comes back, it comes back. They can have me. And if it doesn't come back, and we do get these closes either at these levels or at the lows, I've had an extremely nice day. At this point, I already have 10 points on the trade, and if I can get another 10, that would be super sweet. Going back to ES, because I wasn't done with ES just yet. Since I had no trade and I didn't take the long, there's no need for me to chase in. This is the first time into the zone. This push down, we've already come to the zone above. This is the second time in. Buyers were able to push up into the zone above. Due to the slow nature of the market, and we're right next to the white zone, first thing I want to look at is I want to position myself well, middle to back of the zone here, because buyers do have control at this point. And the second thing I want to have is I want to have some kind of evidence that the decision I'm making is being supported by the market. And if we flip over quickly to the 1 minute chart, which I also published today, just after I took the trade. Okay, so I took the trade right here, right into this divergence, right into the back of the zone, and my target was 6 ticks. It's summertime. A lot of times I'll lower my initial target, particularly on ES. The rotations just get smaller, and I want high odds of getting out of my trade. So I took the first trade off at 6 ticks. My stop, my original stop was sitting at 1686.50, which was a 3-point stop. And on the second half of the trade, I've decided to leave that trade on. So net on half, I had the potential for losing about 1.5 points. Will be my loss on that trade on half size. So totally reasonable. If on the other hand we do roll over and we come back, hopefully to the white zone, if I get extremely lucky, we might get down to the 73, 75 area. Certainly hoping for that, but I have no idea if it'll happen. So I had the tick divergence. I had tick divergence. I was in the middle to the back of the zone. While it did bust the tick divergence here, and that happens, which is why we just don't randomly take tick divergence. It needs to be in a specific area to give you an edge. I did have a very good setup, and then, it's always scary when you see it coming out the back of the zone. If you're not experienced, your heart will start racing a bit. Your desire will be to go in and cover that trade, but there's really no need to panic. You've made the decision, you made the commitment, you have the stop in. I was a little late getting the tweet out if you at this point, so if you were exactly following me, which you should not be doing, you may not have gotten this original 6 tick cover. But you certainly have another chance right here, and I tweeted that out prior to getting there. And now it's just a waiting game. It's lunchtime. Lunchtime's hard. Look at this chop. This is difficult, and look at the amount of time this trade is taking to work out, and there's no promise or guarantee that it will work out. And that's one thing I want to really emphasize. And Mark Douglas in his book, excellent. Both his books are excellent. He really emphasizes you don't have to know the outcome of the trade. All you have to know is that the odds of your trade are in your favor, and that over a sequence of 5 or 10 trades, that these trades will work out for you. And they certainly do for me. And I can give up the control of what's going to happen, or the fear of, am I going to get stopped or not get stopped? I'll let the market decide that for me. What I want to focus on is the communication from the market and where's my next setup, if there's a next setup, or I want to focus on making sure I'm not overeager to trade. The only reason I'm successful today, my entire day would have been wiped out if I was overly aggressive and shorted here, and I'm still waiting up here for the trade to work out. There's a lot of things working against me in this trade, and you'll see we're constantly setting higher lows. That definitely isn't a positive sign. But again, I'm not worried about it. I know I had good trade placement. I might get stopped. I might get another trade. I might not get another trade. It doesn't matter to me. The market will reveal what I need to know when I need to know it. All I need to do is stay calm and focused. So that's where we're at. And if we'll look at both charts side by side here on NQ, we have quite a divergent market here between the two markets. Let's expand this up a little bit, stretch it out. And what we'll see here is that right now we have buyers in control and not a lot of rollover, at least yet, in ES. And if you'll look on NQ, we are sitting right near the lows of the day, which is very nice for me. I really like when we are at the lows of the day, and I'm short. That's really a great position to be in. And as you see, we're breaking new lows as we speak. My guess is someone's going to step in here and try and get a double bottom out of this, or a head fake to the low, and then maybe pull it up here one more time. But again, I have no idea, and it doesn't matter. The point is, I've set myself up psychologically. I had a thesis. I didn't impose that thesis on the market. The market came to me and let me set up that trade. And then I had a plan for exiting that trade, and I'm following that plan. And whether it is successful or not, I have no idea. Sometimes I hit home runs. I I catch near the high of the day and we close near the low. There's been many times where I chose a scaling strategy that didn't work, and I've given back significant amounts of profits. The point is, you need to know before you enter that trade what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and then you don't need to sit here and analyze all day long. Well, is Google rolling over? What's Apple doing? What's this doing? What's the other thing doing? Just execute the plan, relax your mind, and let the market communicate to you. So, at any rate, my name is Simon. I'm with Trade and Perform Coaching. If you would like to learn to trade like a professional, feel free to contact me. My email is tradeandperform@gmail.com. And you can also look for contact info on my blog. I hope everyone's banking and making a tremendous amount of money today. There is enough bad traders out there that it leaves plenty of money for the good traders to take. So I certainly hope you are one of them. Have a great day.